Good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Elijah Kirby with Shelbyville Weather, and we are back on here for a severe thunder. Oh, sorry, I had my audio turned up there on my iPad so I could look at the comments here. But anyway, we are live here due to a severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued here for northern Moore County. So this is right along the Bedford and Moore County line, and it's for this storm that we have right here in right to the east of Frank Ewing and just south of Delina, I think is how you pronounce that, and just to the north of Delrose here, right along the US 64 corridor in Lincoln County. And this storm is moving off towards the north and east and will clip portions of northern Moore County over the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and look at the information with this warning here. Looks like that the storm is moving northeastward at 20 miles per hour. So I think the main threat with this storm is definitely going to be hail, like we've been seeing, so far today. So if you're just now joining in, we're live due to a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just come out here for northern Moore County and also northern Lincoln County. But at this time, there are no other warnings, anywhere else in Bedford or Coffee County. And as you can see, it's really just some light to moderate rain going on across central Bedford County and then into northern Coffee County. So we'll go ahead and get a little closer look here at this system or at this particular storm. And there's a little bit of a hook echo showing up here on this storm. So I'm going to see what the rotation looks like. Not seeing much in the way of rotation, but a pretty impressive radar signature here. So probably some good sized hail here falling just east of Frank Ewing in Lincoln and western or eastern Giles County and western Lincoln County. And again, this is moving off towards the north and east and will impact northern Moore County. Most of this will be, from a Chestnut Ridge over towards Lynchburg on State Route 129, and then over towards Mount Herman, New Herman on Chestnut Ridge, and County Line, Raysville, and then eventually, as if this storm is able to maintain its strength, could be looking at it impacting, between Ross and Normandy and Tullahoma over, the next 45 minutes to hour. So, it's just something to keep in mind here. But this storm cell definitely looks pretty impressive here over western Lincoln County, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it here over the next few minutes as it enters Moore County from the west. I'm going to try to get the comments up here so I can see what y'all are saying. Maybe. They were working for me earlier. I don't know why they don't want to work all of a sudden. Okay, there we go. So again, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Bedford or Coffee County. This is strictly for Moore County at this time. So we're looking pretty good in Bedford and Coffee County at this current moment. But again, we do have this very strong cell here, and I'll circle it. Very strong cell here over western Lincoln County, and this is moving off towards the north and east at about 20 miles an hour here towards Moore County. I'm actually going to do a storm track on this here and bring it up towards the north and the east. Now, it's important to keep in mind that a lot of these storms have, struggled to to maintain their intensity. They're not necessarily long track storms, so this could be, just a situation where we have some, a little uptick in intensity and then it comes back down. But we'll at least do a storm track here going up into Coffee County, into just to the west of Tullahoma. So it's going to say tornado warning, shelter information. That's, there's no tornado warnings in effect here, but I'll quickly go in and change it back to the live stream scene. Okay, so I got it back up here to what it's supposed to show, and then we'll put in 20 miles an hour here towards the northeast, and we can expect this in Belleville. That is along US 231, but Shelbyville Highway in Lincoln County. We can expect it there. This storm in Belleville about 40 to 45 minutes. Boonville about 56 minutes. Hawthorne and New Herman on top of Chestnut Ridge, we're talking about an hour or so, give or take. Lynchburg, 75 minutes or so. Flat Creek, about 75 minutes. And Bottle Hollow, 83 minutes. Ross, 86 minutes. And then we're getting up into the Tullahoma, Normandy area, somewhere, within the next hour and 30 minutes or so. But, it's there's a chance that these times are a little bit on the low end, but definitely a good hook signature showing up here. Very impressive, actually. But again, I'm not really seeing much rotation, with this particular cell. But it sure does look pretty nasty, at least from the reflectivity perspective. So, I'm not going to say that a tornado can be completely ruled out today, but, the tornado threat is low, but we'll keep an eye on it here. The portions of Manchester could end up getting this storm if it maintains its intensity, but, I'm not super concerned with that at this moment. The Weather Service in Huntsville has just put in their chat room that they are monitoring the weak rotation with the cell in Lincoln County. So they say the rotation is fairly weak, and I can agree with that. So we'll continue to monitor it here on the live stream as well. Just for a quick overview on everyone else, light to moderate rain is ongoing across eastern Bedford County, and this is moving into Coffee County. I'll go ahead and circle the area of light to moderate rainfall. And this is pushing off towards the east as well. Might help, help calm down the environment just a little bit at least. But, the reason why we're live here is because of this severe thunderstorm warning here for Lincoln and Moore County. Specifically, Moore County. So we're just going to stick with this here over the next, the next 45 minutes to an hour, depending on if the storm maintains its intensity. If it comes down in intensity, then we'll cut loose. But for the time being, it looks fairly impressive here in western Lincoln County along the US 64 corridor. Shelbyville will likely get in on some of this heavy rainfall here. Falling from from Lewisburg down all the way towards Fayetteville, but any of the stuff north of this little line I drew right here is not severe. So, this stuff is good up here, but this is the bad part of the storm down here on the extreme south end. This is all moving generally towards the northeast, but it looks like that the worst of the storm here in Lincoln County is going to stay just south of the Bedford County line, or maybe just right along the Bedford-Moore County line here. So if you're in Bottle Hollow, Ross, Tullahoma, Normandy, probably want to keep an eye on this storm just in case. But as you can see, with some of these airport readings, The temperatures are in, the mid 70s, but um, the dew point is, in the upper 50s. And if you've been around here long enough, you know that I really like dew points to be at least 60 degrees for a really good severe weather threat. So it's not overly humid. It's kind of, the the environment has kind of cooled off just a little bit here over the last few hours, and that might be due to lack of heating. Um, the sun has been underneath some cloud cover for a little bit, but we'll continue to watch this storm even if we have dew points in the high 50s. It's still something to keep in mind. Belt buckle, you're not going to get any of this here. This is going to be very extreme southern Bedford County and extreme northern Moore County at this time. At least it looks like with this particular cell that is a severe thunderstorm warned. And I'll circle that portion of the cell, or this cell that I'm watching, and this is moving off towards the northeast, kind of beelining right towards Tullahoma eventually. So if you're in Tullahoma, I'd keep an eye on this, storm over the next little bit, just in case. But these storms have been kind of pulsing up and down, so we might have just been going through a little temper tantrum with this storm, and there's a good chance it'll probably weaken a little bit at least on its approach to Tullahoma. But we'll see. We'll see. Franklin County, I think this particular cell is going to go to the north of you. This one here, but I'll come on over here, and there is this storm in southern Giles County here, and this is moving a little bit further towards the south and could impact Fayetteville and southern Moore County, and then maybe portions of Franklin County as well. But it's just a wait and see kind of thing here. But other than that, there's not really much going on in our general area. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings elsewhere, but for our area, this is really the only warning that we have right now is just this little storm here in northern Lincoln County and moving towards Moore County. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the vertically integrated liquid. We've been using this product a lot over the past few live streams because we've had an increased hail threat. But this product looks at how high up there are raindrops and hailstones and things of that nature. And the gray colors indicate, we have some hydrometeors that are suspended pretty far aloft. And we have some of those gray colors within this storm, even some purples, indicating some of those higher values as well. And that's probably where the hail core is going to be located here, right around Jerusalem and Delina and Blakeville. Sulphur Springs in western Lincoln County. Now, I'm also going to look at the echo tops with this particular storm. We can see how tall the clouds extend. This is a really good tool to use, if we're looking to see how tall a storm is, because usually the height of the storm really helps us, or is a good indicator of how strong a storm can be. So this particular storm is showing somewhere around 36,000 feet, which is right below, where the hail would be falling and the strongest updraft is. So, this is definitely a pretty strong thunderstorm, probably dropping some, severe sized hailstones up to quarter size in western Lincoln County. And again, this is pushing into Moore County, which is why we're live, especially in northern Moore County. So The latest radar scan just came in, and it's showing some of those aqua colors now, which is really impressive. Impressive colors that indicate we might have some increased hailstones. Large hailstones falling here in western Lincoln County, west of Highway 431 and Highway 231, and north of US 64. So I'm also going to look at the correlation coefficient here. Sometimes this can be good, a good indicator of, if we have some larger hailstones that are falling, and there are some lower values here that I'm noticing, and that could indicate, some of the larger hailstones compared to, the raindrops that are falling elsewhere. And then there's also another product called, trying to find it, differential reflectivity. And this can also be a good indicator of some, hailstones that are falling. And you can see some of those lower values here, the blues showing up around the higher colors. We have the reds and the yellows and the greens, but you have the blues and the grays there kind of sandwiched in the middle there where I circled on my map. And this product is basically showing us where there are, where there is precipitation within the storm that is different than the rest of the precipitation around it. So, the reds indicate where you have good correlation, you have good, the raindrops all look the same, they're falling down the same, but the blues and the grays, circled in here would indicate where we have some, something that's a little bit different than raindrops that are falling straight down, and likely that is going to be some larger hailstones in this particular case, at least. So, just exploring some different radar products here and trying to, diagnose this particular cell. But so this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for another 42 minutes here for northern Moore County and also northern Lincoln County. And large hail up to the size of quarters is going to be the main threat here over the next 30 to 45 minutes. And we'll have to see if this storm can maintain its intensity here as it continues off towards the north and east at 20 miles an hour. I think this is going to be the worst of the storms today. We've really dodged a bullet here in Bedford County, at least, and in Coffee County too, so far. But there are still a couple of other storms, a little cluster here from Florence, Alabama, all the way up towards Columbia, and that will, be pushing towards the east over time. But it just seems like I don't know if there's something going on here over the environment over Bedford and Coffee County. It's just every storm that comes through today has just kind of went kaploof, or just kind of went away magically. I don't know. So it's been really interesting to watch that happen, because we had a few really impressive, really impressive thunderstorms come right up to the Bedford County line and then just kind of crap out all of a sudden. So it's been very interesting to watch that happen. I'm sure that there's some processes worth looking at, and I haven't had a chance to, really dig into it much, because I've been, watching the radar pretty much all day in the chat rooms and everything else. But we still looking pretty good here on this severe thunderstorm warning for northern Lincoln and northern Moore County. And there is I circled where the large hail core is. And okay, so it looks like that the Weather Service in Huntsville has just decided to put out a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes more of Moore County and more of Lincoln County as well. So I'll go ahead and talk about that now. I'm going to zoom down just a little bit here. So now a pretty good portion of Lincoln County is now under a warning of some kind, or a severe thunderstorm warning of some kind. But large hail core here is going to come right over top of northern Moore County over the next little bit. But then we have this new developing cell here with the potential for some large hail, maybe some gusty winds right along the I-65 corridor in Giles County. And this is moving off towards the east, northeast, probably more east than northeast, but also moving in the same general direction of Moore County. So pretty much all of Moore County is now under a severe thunderstorm warning of some kind here. So make sure that you are indoors and, away from windows if you're in Moore County with these two storms that are going to be coming through over the next 45 minutes or so. But we're, the tornado threat is fairly low today, which is good news. But, we're mainly looking at a damaging wind threat and a large hail threat with these storms here. So the Weather Service in Huntsville has stated that both cells in our Lincoln County warnings have weak rotation, but it remains aloft, so no tornado concerns at this current moment, which is basically what I've been hinting at too. But we still have these, two hail centers, cores, whatever you want to call them here. In the purples, the deep and dark purples and pinks is where that large hail could be. And right now it is moving one of the hail cores. The first hail core is moving directly over 431 and about to come over 231 near the Belleville community along Shelbyville Highway. And then it'll finally be in Moore County. So the first it'll be hit in the Moore County area will be those around Boonville and State Route 129 from Highway 55 over towards US 231 on Chestnut Ridge. Anywhere along State Route 129 here is going to be impacted by this strong to severe thunderstorm. Over the next 15 to 20 minutes or so, but we will still have to watch this severe thunderstorm as well along I-65 as it attempts to move towards Moore County as well. But for the time being, we're just kind of waiting, watching and waiting for the severe warned cell to really get into Moore County. But it's never a good idea to have an early heads up and an early warning put out on it so people know, it's time to get inside and seek substantial shelter, until this storm passes. So if you are in Moore County, pretty much anywhere in Moore County, you need to be, inside and wait for this storm to pass. I definitely wouldn't want to be out driving around, especially if this storm maintains its strength. Could have some busted windshields or something if you're driving at 55 miles an hour, and these hailstones come pounding at your windshield. Definitely not something that I would be interested in encountering. So I'm not sure that, there's many other people out there that want to encounter that too. Hillsboro, sorry, Brooke, I didn't see your comment earlier, but Hillsboro, you'll be seeing this storm in the next, I would say, hour, 2 hours or so. I mean, these are slow moving, just crawling off towards the north and east. But, if they maintain their strength, I could see Hillsboro getting hit by one or two of these cells, within the next hour or so. But I really do have a hard time believing that these storms will will maintain their strength as they push off towards the east. But just based off what we've seen, so far today. And again, if you are in Bedford or Coffee County, nothing to be concerned about at this time. Bedford County for sure. But if you are in, southern Coffee County, Tullahoma, Hillsborough, Arnold Air Force Base, just keep an eye on these storms here, that we've been talking about over the last little bit. I'll circle them once again so we can see where they are, and coming into Moore County, and then eventually, could be up towards the Tullahoma area if they maintain their strength. But definitely Shelbyville is good to go, or good to go for the time being anyway. Not an all clear just yet. But I think the severe weather threat is quickly coming to an end here for Bedford County for the most part. And just southern Coffee County, just stick with me here, until we can get through these two storms that are pushing through Lincoln County and kind of riding right up, State Route 50 and Highway 55 here into the Tullahoma area out of Moore and Lincoln County. So I'm going to go ahead and look at some of the radar products again. We'll circle where the strongest hail core is located at right now between US 231 and US 431 here in northern Lincoln County. It's kind of where the worst of this storm is located at. And we'll look through some of these radar products and see what we can, interrogate here with this severe thunderstorm. So still had pretty good vertically integrated liquid here showing up on the, on this radar product. And again, we're looking at how high the rain and potential ice is suspended within the storm, vertically integrated. Anyway, but we can, use this product to see how high the, the hydrometeors, whether that be rain or hail, is, is within the updraft of the thunderstorm. And the grays definitely indicate where we have some of those higher values, and it continues to look fairly impressive here, especially as it moves closer towards Moore County. So if we look at the echo tops, we can see how high, the storm is within the atmosphere, and definitely seeing some values, 38,000 feet. That's higher than even what it was a couple minutes ago. So this storm continues to grow and get taller and taller. And, that's a good sign for hail, because hail forms within the highest part of the thunderstorm. So the higher your thunderstorm is, the more potential for hail to grow and survive, within the storm's updraft. Now, one other product I want to look at is the differential reflectivity, which can show us where some of the hail might be falling. Not seeing very much here, even though it looks like the hail core just got even bigger here, just got even more impressive, over just north of Fayetteville. And so I feel like that this storm is starting to shift a little bit more towards the south. And Lynchburg, you're starting to get more concerned with your hail threat here if you are in Lynchburg, Mulberry along State Route 50, and going up towards maybe Estill Springs and along Timms Ford Lake. Definitely getting more concerned with the threat for some damaging hail. And again, I'll circle the hail core here in blue, and this is moving off towards the north and east, and almost directly towards Lynchburg, maybe just a little bit south of Lynchburg proper. But yeah, if you're in Lynchburg, Moore County, you need to be seeking shelter at this time. You don't have to take shelter like you would for a tornado, but You still want to be inside and away from windows. Don't want to be out driving around as this severe thunderstorm passes. So if anyone has any questions or comments for me, any reports out of Lincoln County would be nice too. It looks like this hail core is just north of downtown Fayetteville, along Lewisburg Highway and Shelbyville Highway, 231 and 431. But yeah, I mean, this is still a fairly impressive hail core here, just north of downtown Fayetteville, and this is moving off towards the north and east. And I'll reiterate once again that at this time, there is no warnings or no reason to be concerned for Bedford and a majority of Coffee County minus, extreme southern Coffee County, just in case, this storm decides to perk up just a little bit, especially in the northern part. But it looks like to me that really the worst of this storm is going to be right in this corridor here over that I'm drawing here on the screen over the next 30 minutes or so. I don't think now that the hail core has shifted south, it's going to take a lot of northward push for it to impact Tuolumne, and I don't really see that happening at this point. But it's something that I'm going to continue to monitor at least. And this severe thunderstorm warning continues for another 43 minutes. Another 43 minutes here on this severe thunderstorm warning. And I was going to look through the correlation coefficient data here and see what we have. And very noisy, but I definitely think that, these lowered values in here could have something to do with the heavy rainfall or the hail that's falling with this storm. So we're still just keeping an eye on it here as it pushes into Moore County eventually here. But it's taking a little bit of time, which is fine. But yeah, the worst of the hail here is probably about to come through Mulberry within the next 10 minutes or so. 5 to 10 minutes here for the Mulberry area of Lincoln County along State Route 50. And then it'll be into Moore County right along and south of Lynchburg and State Route 50. So, again, if you are in Moore County, you need to be indoors and away from windows until, this storm passes. Don't have to treat it like a tornado warning, but, we still need to keep a close eye on this storm over the next little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the velocity data just to see if there's any high winds showing up here. There's some values of 30 to 40 miles per hour here showing up right around the hail core, which is, probably a good downburst occurring with the heaviest precipitation, which is quite normal. I'm also going to look at the storm relative velocity. Not seeing any rotation there. So, I still think the tornado threat is fairly low with this storm, but still worth keeping an eye on here just in case. It also looks like I'm going to pull a little bit south here. You can see this line showing up here in the data from the Huntsville radar site, and that's actually what looks like an outflow boundary here that's pushing out ahead of the storm. And a lot of times that can help choke off some of the warm, moist air that the storm is able to feed off of, which might help weaken this storm as it moves into Moore County. But even with a little bit of weakening, it's still going to be quite a hefty thunderstorm here for just along and south of State Route 50 and the Lynchburg area, Moore County, also Lois and Liberty Hill, and Herdlow is also, Herdlow down there in southern Moore County as well could get in on the worst of this storm here. So this is actually an interesting radar formation that's showing up. Do we call this a screaming eagle or flying eagle? Flying V. You can see if I draw this outline, it kind of looks like an eagle that's flapping its wings with the updraft is pushing out in two directions here, and that indicates a very strong storm, to say the least here. But I'm happy that we didn't have a little bit more storm fuel available today, because some of these storms could have turned tornadic fairly quickly. So I'm definitely thankful that we didn't have more storm fuel and wind shear or wind energy available for these storms. Bedford County is all good with this particular cell. This cell is going to stay south of Bedford County and should stay south of the majority of Coffee County as well. Now, someone asked about Highway 64. That's US 64 there in Lincoln County. So if you hear me say highway or US 64, I'm talking about US 64 here from Winchester over to Fayetteville, and not State Route 64. So I guess that's a good thing to remind people of when I'm talking about Lincoln County. So still have this pretty good hail core in the latest update from the Huntsville radar site, and this is moving directly into Mulberry right now. So you can see just 2 or 3 miles away from Mulberry, off towards the west, have the purples and the aquas showing up on the radar, and that indicates some of the bigger hailstones that are falling down to the ground, potentially over northeastern Lincoln County. And this is pushing off towards the north and east. I think it's lost a lot of its its northerly component and moving more eastward. I'm gonna try to I wanted to look at the radar data here and kind of see. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's starting to move a little bit more eastward compared to southeastward or northeastward over the last little bit, which may spare a good portion of Moore County for the most part from this storm. But still very, very strong, severe, potentially severe up to quarter ping pong ball sized hail here showing up just west of Mulberry. And this is pushing off towards the east at 20 miles per hour. And let me check to make sure that it's up to 30 miles an hour now. So I'm going to go ahead and do a storm track on this, moving off towards the east at 30 miles per hour here. And it's going to stay on the screen this time, which is good. So Mulberry in 7 minutes here. I would say more like 5 or 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to be very soon from Mulberry. Lexi Crossroads, about 30 minutes. Belvedere, 38 minutes. Winchester Springs, 40 minutes. Winchester, 45 minutes. Deckard in 50 minutes. And Capitol Hill in 53 minutes. Haven't heard of Capitol Hill yet. That's a new one for me. But yeah, so that's our, that's the latest storm track there as it moves off towards the east at 30 miles an hour. And Again, it looks like that this storm is going to stay just south of, the strongest part of the storm is going to stay just south of Lynchburg, but along and south of Highway 50 in the lowest Hurdlow area, could have some large hail here over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then for Tullahoma and Shelbyville, Manchester, just some light to moderate rain for the most part. Not expecting anything, anything strong or severe in the rest of our area at this current time. I'm still watching a few of these storms here off to the west, and I'll circle those. But these storms haven't been quite as impressive as I think the Storm Prediction Center was originally anticipating today, which I consider to be good news. I don't think anyone is complaining about that. But we're a lot of these storms have just been more pulse, just come up and down in strength very quickly instead of being long track and for long periods of time with the severe, with how a lot of severe thunderstorms work out around here. But more just pop-up variety stuff, which is what I was expecting for the most part. So sometimes it works works out where you have a lot of communities that get a good rain, and then sometimes it just craps out. It's a dud, and you just have a strong storm that goes through, one or two communities compared to most of them. So definitely looks like that's the case today. The worst of the hail here is coming into Mulberry right now. Here's the latest forecast, or the latest radar scan out of the Huntsville radar site, and it looks like the hail core has come down just a little bit here as pushes into Mulberry. I'm not exactly sure if that's a sign that it's weakening or not, or it could just be going through a quick little weakening phase. But we'll look at a few other products here to see if large hail is falling. Some of these, lowered values there could be some quarter to ping pong ball size maybe. But looks like this storm might be slowly weakening. But differential reflectivity values are still low here just west of Mulberry. And again, if you didn't hear my explanation earlier, this is looking at the difference in the precipitation sizes in the storm, and the red values indicate where we have high correlation of raindrop sizes or precipitation sizes, and then the lighter colors and the dark blues here, especially in the middle here, would indicate where we have some hail falling more than likely, because that lines up fairly well with the hail core here over and just to the west of Mulberry along Highway 50. But again, if you are in Shelbyville or Coffee County, Bedford County or Coffee County, all good for the time being. Just some light to moderate rainfall, ongoing in those areas, but not seeing much to be concerned about in terms of severe weather. So if anyone has any questions for me, feel free to put them here in the comments, and I'll look them over. If anyone saw this storm in Lincoln County, some reports would be nice. I haven't seen any reports come in from Lincoln County yet. with this particular storm. Manchester, you're looking good. Gonna have some light to moderate rain. Move in over the next few minutes. It's already on, you know, already falling. It looks like, especially along in north of I-24, but still have a little bit of light to moderate rain to get through. Same thing for Tullahoma, but the severe weather threat is coming down in Bedford and Coffee County for the rest of the evening, in my opinion. Shelbyville, same way. Not looking too bad at all. Tim's Ford Lake, definitely pay attention here with this severe thunderstorm. Potential for some large hail over the next little bit. I don't know if you can see it on the map here, but Tim's Ford Lake is right there, and I guess it's a lot bigger because it kind of, it kind of encompasses this whole area here in some form or fashion. But you know, the this storm definitely could impact a good portion of Tim's Ford Lake over the next 30 minutes or so. I definitely think that Tim's Ford could very well be impacted by this. Um, the Weather Service is marking off counties from the severe thunderstorm watch. Bedford and Coffee County, of course, are still included, but I would expect that to change after this storm here in Lincoln County gets gets out of the way. It definitely looks like this storm is starting to gust out here. Like I was talking about a minute ago, you see the outflow boundary uh, outlined in blue here, and this is pushing off towards the south and east, and kind of choking off the energy here for this severe thunderstorm. So I think we're on a good weakening trend here with this severe thunderstorm and hail core here over Mulberry and pushing off into Moore County. But still stay with me here if you're in Moore County, just to be on the safe side, especially if you're south of Lynchburg. But I think northern Moore County is now in the clear from this particular storm, as we've this storm that we are watching is kind of um, pushing off a little bit further towards the east than what we originally anticipated, and I think that is mainly due to the gust front, kind of weakening the storm and pulling it more towards the east. Um, So this storm, I still would, be watching out for it here if you are in the Thames, if you are along Thames Ford. Uh, just to be on the safe side here with this hail core just to the west of Mulberry. But it definitely looks like we're on a good weakening trend with this storm, but still could be producing some nickel to quarter sized hail. Uh, just to the west of Mulberry and pushing into Moore County and eventually along Thames Ford Lake. Um, but as I said, looks like that the storm is beginning to weaken pretty substantially here. But we'll wait for another radar scan before we really start um, to say that this storm is weakening good. Um, so the northern warning has expired now. And that, was a good call because this storm is well south of the northern warning. But, we're still keeping a close eye here on this hail core here just to the west of Mulberry and pushing into Moore County from Lois down to Liberty Hill and Hurdlow. So, and this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for another 23 minutes here. So we'll have to wait and see if the Weather Service in Huntsville, wants to cancel it or keep it going. But for the most part, I think we're on a weakening trend for the most part. Still could have some nickel to quarter sized hail though. That's a weakening trend doesn't necessarily mean that it's we can totally write it off. But the hail core is circled here with this storm in Lincoln County as it pushes into Moore County now. Finally, it took long enough, but finally moving into Moore County here between Lois and Liberty Hill. You can see there's Lois and then Liberty Hill is just off the screen there, and this is pushing off towards the east at 30 miles per hour. So, nickel quarter-sized hail will be possible between Lois and Liberty Hill in the Marble Hill, Hurdlow area over the next little bit. But looks like downtown Lynchburg proper, and Highway 55 from Lynchburg to Tullahoma is good to go from this particular storm. This really just looks like a southern Moore County event or southern Moore County storm here. So Marble Hill, Hurdlow, and Lois. Thank you, everybody, for the stars. I greatly appreciate them. And I apologize for the stuff going on in the background noise and stuff. There's, I'm, and the internet isn't the best either, I should say, because it, seems to be, cutting in and out awful lot. But, thank you for being patient with me. There's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe, and this will be a non-issue very soon with the technical difficulties and stuff like that. And I'll share some of that news later on. My subscribers already know if you are a subscriber, you're in my Facebook subscription group. I've been giving them some hints and a few clues about what's going on in the world of Shelbyville weather. So if you're not a subscriber, you could become one and get some of that information a little bit ahead of time before I announce it to everyone else. But there's a lot of good stuff coming down the road here over the next few weeks and coming months. And the internet issues and the noise issues are no longer going to be a problem very soon, which is great. Great news. So thank you again for understanding, as we navigate through this weird transition time here, between school and starting this up. So, the worst of the hail core is just west of, or just to the east of Mulberry now. Still moving fairly slow. We've been tracking this storm for what seems like the past hour or so now. Not exactly sure if it's 55 minutes, so almost a whole hour, and we barely got across the county. So, this storm is definitely moving fairly slow. And again, the worst of the hail is going to be right here where the purples are, kind of circled there. That's a horrible circle, but you get the idea here of what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and look at a few different radar products here to see, if we have some. We can see some of the larger hail that's coming down with this storm. So some of the lower values in there might be, showing us where the large hail is falling. And vertically integrated liquid has come down a little bit. We're having some gray values there just a couple minutes ago, but the values aren't quite as strong anymore, it looks like, with mostly just some purples there in and around Mulberry in eastern Lincoln County. And this will continue to push off towards the east and into more counties. So Lois and Marble Hill and Hurdlow are going to be impacted by this hail core here, and it has perked up just a little bit as it moves into Moore County from Lincoln County. And that's where the large hail would be falling, quarter-sized hail or so probably, and pushing off towards the east at 30 miles an hour. So Lois is right here, and we have Marble Hill, and then Hurdlow is just to the south of the screen. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break here. I don't do it very often, but I do need a quick bathroom break, and I'll be right back. I'll leave the stream up and going here. If you have any reports from Moore County, any large hail reports, feel free to comment them back to me, and I'll get right back to it here in just a minute. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back here with coverage here of this severe thunderstorm warning for Moore County, and like I was saying just a minute ago, we have maybe some quarter-sized hail here, circled around Gaddis, I think is how you would pronounce that. I'm not 100% sure, but this storm is moving off towards the east, probably starting to get some some hail falling right outside of the Lois community here in Moore County, Liberty Hill, and down towards Marble Hill as well. And this storm continues to push off towards the east at 30 miles per hour. And this severe thunderstorm warning will expire in 15 minutes, and we'll see if they decide to extend this into Franklin County or not. But kind of hard to see here. Or I guess I'll put the L up here, Lincoln County L, and then Moore County right here. That's a horrible M. I apologize for that. I don't have my mouse with me. I'm just using a trackpad, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to for me to draw stuff on the screen. But I hope that gives a good general idea of where this storm is located right this moment, anyway. So here's the latest radar update here, and you can see pretty elongated hail core here, all the way from Lois down towards Hurdlow and Liberty Hill, right along the Moore and Lincoln County line. So, could have some up to quarter-sized hail falling, in this general area from Lois down to Liberty Hill in Moore County. And again, this storm will not impact Lynchburg proper. I do not expect this storm to impact downtown Lynchburg. This will be along and south of State Route 50. It does look like the severe thunderstorm, or the National Weather Service in Huntsville has decided to extend this severe thunderstorm warning into Franklin County. So this would include Winchester, Cowan, and up towards Estill Springs as well. But this storm will stay well south of Coffee County at this point. Really started to take on more of an easterly component here over the last few minutes compared to, that northeasterly component it had just a little bit. So if you were in, southern Moore County and have a report of large hail, please let me know. I'd love to hear your reports. Haven't got very many reports from this particular storm, but I would like to hear your reports. And if you have any pictures, you can send that to me via Facebook Messenger, and I'll pass those along to the National Weather Service. We'll go ahead and look at some of the other products here that could be showing us where the hail is, falling, but not seeing very much on the correlation coefficient, and differential reflectivity is pretty noisy as well, for the most part. Nothing concrete, but we'll look and see if the vertically integrated liquid has perked up a little bit, but looks like they didn't get a new scan in with that product, the last update. So we'll just have to stick with the reflectivity here, and show it on as we track this into Franklin County. So someone was asking me about Timms Ford Lake earlier. I would definitely be prepared, at Timms Ford Lake for some gusty winds and some hail up to the size of quarters, potentially over the next 20 minutes or so, as this storm is coming through Lois and Marble Hill and Hurdlow here in southern Moore County. The warning on this actually has $50 sized hail. which is pretty impressive. Um, but here is the sorry, that's gonna have to stay. That severe thunderstorm warning thing box is gonna have to stay there. But here's the county line here between Lincoln and Franklin and Moore County. Moore County here being in the middle, and then we have Lincoln County over here, and Franklin County over here. Um, LMF, and right here in the middle with Moore County, you can see there's some pretty good sized hail coming down, or some elevated values, purples and purple values showing up on the reflectivity data, which would indicate the potential for some up to quarter sized hail uh, falling here over extreme southern Moore County from Lois down to Herdlow and Marble Hill and Liberty Hill as well. So it's really the only strong storm that we have right now. There is a heavier shower here over Manchester, and then some heavier showers up here towards Fairfield and Beech Grove, Noah, over northern uh, Bedford and Moore counties. But for the most part here, this is just light to moderate activity and nothing severe. But we can see down here with the purples and some of the aqua pixels showing up here on the radar site that there is some larger hailstones that are falling over southern Moore County towards and moving off towards the east towards Franklin County. Josh, they're probably sounding the tornado sirens for a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't know why they do that there. It's yeah. Some counties and cities have weird, tornado siren procedures where they, sound them even when there's not a tornado warning. And Deckard / Franklin County might be one of the places that does that. I'm not 100% sure. But there are no tornado warnings in effect at this time. Just a severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of some half-dollar sized hail and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour is what we're looking at here with this storm over Moore and moving into Franklin County. Yeah, Josh, I would definitely be confused too. Yeah, that's a strange situation going on down there, and it could be a malfunction. I don't know. I really never have heard anyone else say that they've gone off during severe warnings before, compared to tornado warnings. But thank you very much. Thank you very much. But yeah, we're still watching this severe thunderstorm that is pushing through southern Moore County. Lois, Herdlow, Liberty Hill, 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts will be possible. And hail up to the size of $half. More than likely, quarter to $half sized hail. So, we're just waiting for it to exit Moore County, and then we'll should be good for the rest of the night. We should be good for the rest of the night. Not seeing anything crazy here on the radar. Looking back towards the west. Continue to keep an eye on stuff just in case, but I think we're going to be good to go for the rest of the evening here after we get rid of these, or after we get rid of this storm, I guess I should say. Not these storms. I guess it's only one really that we're watching. But So the worst of the hail core here, showing up in the purples. So right along the Moore and Franklin County line around Beach Hill and State Route 50, and then coming down State Route 121 as well, where you have the purples and pinks here is where the worst of the storm, um, would be located. Could have some quarter to maybe $half sized hail falling. And moving off towards the east, towards Broadview and Timms Ford Lake, and eventually Winchester, Deckard, Estill Springs, probably a little bit too far north in Estill Springs, but, still under a severe thunderstorm warning up that way. It looks like the worst of the storm will stay south of Estill Springs, though, which is good news. And again, looking at storms elsewhere, not seeing much of anything worth talking about. Just, some scattered light to moderate rain for the most part. So, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just come out here for Moore County. And this is for this particular cell, but the worst of that cell is going to stay south of Moore County. It's a fairly large polygon box. But if you're in Huntland, could see some large hail out of this portion of this little cluster here that is kind of formed over south central Middle Tennessee, and moving almost directly towards the radar site there at High Top / Skyline, Alabama. So zooming in here locally once again, we have this little hail core here around Beach Hill, and this is all pushing off towards the east and towards the city of Winchester. So Liberty Hill, Lois, and Marble Hill, Hurdlow. Hurdlow and Marble Hill are getting in on some of the worst of the storm right now. But if you're in Lois, you're good to go for the rest of the evening, more than likely. I will be making an all clear post once I'm feel confident that there's not going to be any more strong to severe storms. But for the time being, I do want to at least keep an eye on stuff just in case over the next little bit, because it's always better to be safe than sorry. Better to be safe than sorry. And if anyone has any reports from the Lois, uh, Liberty Hill, Hurdlow area of southern Moore County, please let me know, because I would love to. Send those reports off to the Weather Service for warning verification. But it's a fairly low populated area of Moore County, so might not be very many reports come out of there. The hail in Hurdlow was no joke. Thank you, Tori. If you have any pictures of the hail, that would be awesome. But at least we have we have some confirmation that hail is falling. At least. Clint just stated that in Marble Hill there was 60 to 70 mile per hour winds with lots of small hails. So another good report there. I don't know if that was measured or just an estimate, but pea-sized hail. Okay, pea-sized hail. Thank you, Miss Tori, for the report. out of Herdlow. Sarah asks about Wartrace. Wartrace is not going to see this storm. This is well south of Wartrace. But thank you, Miss Tori, for the report there. Oh, it's much appreciated. Yes, please, please send me a picture of it. I'd love to see that. So I am going to look at the velocity data real quick here just to see if there's what the wind gusts are showing. Radar data out of Huntsville is just showing, 30 to 40 miles per hour. But within a good downdraft there, we could have some stronger gusts, up to 60 miles per hour. Definitely not out of the question. And wouldn't be surprised if a storm like this was producing that kind of hail, or that kind of wind. Excuse me. But it looks like the worst of this storm has exited Moore County here. So just looking at the radar data, so from Beach Hill down Ridgeville, Beach Hill, Liberty Hill, the worst of the pinks and where that potential large hail would be falling has definitely moved off into Franklin County. I'm going to remove that, and then here's where the hail is probably coming down at. So right along the western shores of Timms Ford Lake, and moving off towards the east towards Winchester. But the worst of the storm has exited Moore County, southern Moore County. So I think I'm going to get off here because the worst of the storm now has exited Moore County. If I need to go back live, I will. I don't think I'm going to have to, but I'll give a all clear post here after a while. When I feel like that it's time to, when it's time to shut it down for the evening. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And again, I apologize for the noises and the internet interruptions that we've had to deal with today. It's just something we're trying to work through here. But there are a lot of big things coming down the road, and like I was saying earlier, this is just a small setback for the time being, and pretty soon we're going to be moving on to some really big things with Shelbyville weather. So thank you guys for tuning in once again, and hope you all have a great night. I'll put an all clear post out when it's time. So y'all have a blessed rest of your night. This is meteorologist Elijah Kirby with Shelbyville Weather signing off.